Mary Chinda is standing by in Abuja to give us an update on what's happening at the airport there. Mary, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday. Please tell us what's happening where you are.
A beautiful good afternoon to you and Aaron in the studio. Well, the strike by the organized labor is real, and at the airport right here, it's no different. Nigerian travelers woke up this morning thinking they could hang into a little bit of hope, hoping that something was going to happen and they were going to be able to travel. Well, they are not able to travel. The camera pans right now to the travelers who are still stranded. Some of them who spoke to me off camera said they are hoping that Air Peace or, Green Africa or Ibom Air would actually find a way to, get them on the flights to Lagos, Maduguri, and other places. But it is real. Nigerian air travelers from this end of Abuja, the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, cannot travel. Of course, that's because the strike action is being embarked upon by aviation workers. And of course, some of the bodies here under the Ministry of Aviation, of course, or the aviation industry, are the unions such as the Nigerian Union of Air Transport Employees, the Air Transport Services and Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, the Association of Nigerian Aviation Professionals, and of course, pilots are also not left out because the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers are also endorsing the strike by the NLC and the TUC.
All right, Mary, we hear that, of course, in Lagos, there are talks that they would extend or expand this particular shutdown to the international airport here in Lagos. What about Abuja?
Could you take the question again?
There are talks that the strike action will be expanded by tomorrow to the international wing of the Lagos airports. And I want to hear from you. What about Abuja? What are we hearing about the international wing of the airport?
Well, that's very true. For international flights, there's actually a 24-hour grace to ensure that Nigerians who are outside of the country can actually touch down on Nigerian soil before the strike for international flights are also being embarked upon. For all of the unions, in the aviation sector, there is no going back on this. They're all clamoring for a living wage and hoping that the government would listen to the TUC and the NLC as they embark upon that strike. Just a couple of minutes before this live cross, the Minister of Aviation had actually just sent us a message saying that the Nigerian government is hopeful that they were going to ensure that the plight of Nigerian air travelers are being alleviated, of course, because they will be listening to further negotiations with the NLC and the TUC.
Well, Mary, I'm wondering, what the people are saying, especially those stranded passengers and, of course, the airport workers. What are their thoughts, about this strike organized by labor unions in Nigeria? Are they in support, or do they feel that labor should return to the negotiation table?
Well, earlier I had said that the unions in the aviation industry, the different unions are in support of the strike, including the Aircraft Pilots Association. They are all in support. The only people that are bearing the brunt are the air travelers. I'd spoken off camera to some of the passengers who had been here as early as 7 a.m. In fact, one of the passengers, Green Africa passengers, had actually spoken to me. She had just resigned to Faith and was finding her way home because she's been here since 7 a.m. The airline had actually sent a message saying that they were rescheduling for later in the day, and I'm sure that the airline itself was hoping hoping that there was going to be some kind of NLC was going to call off the strike and all of that, and they were going to be able to fly. Well, they are not alone. I've got Taiwo here and Jumbo here, who are also air passengers, and the look on their faces is that of disenchantment. They're just hoping that something would happen and they'll basically be able to fly. I'm going to be joined in now by Jumbo, who is supposed to join a 3:25 flight from Abuja to Maiduguri today. Jumbo, you told me you have a flight from 3:35 flight on Air Peace, right?
Yes, to Abuja to Maiduguri.
Okay,
yes.
so has the airline sent you any message? What's the situation?
There's no official confirmation yet. I think probably because it's a late flight, so probably the permutation was that probably by this time there will be some form of resolution, and but so far there's no information. We are still waiting.
So you're thinking you'd be able to fly? You're hopeful you'd be able to fly today despite the strike action?
I'm not particularly hopeful. I'm a bit sympathetic with the labor union and the position that they've taken. I think that Nigerians should be able to, mount resistance and get a response from the government when the government is not being responsive. So all in all, while we suffer the temporary difficulties by these restrictions, but I think it's all for good. I think every social change will have to come with some price. Yes. So, aluta continua.
Okay, so that's Jumbo, who's supposed to be flying from Abuja to Maiduguri. And like I said, the unions, aviation unions, are backing the NLC and the 2UC, and they're saying there is no retreat, there's no surrender until they get what they deserve, which is a living wage from off the government.
Well, Arise News correspondent Mary Chinda, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.